What's up, guys? It's Dan from Coin Bureau Trading, back at it again with another crypto market update. Today we've got Gala Games, Decentraland, and the Sandbox. These three cryptos have been pumping the most over the last 24 hours, and I'm sure you're all wondering, why are they pumping? How high are they going to go? Are they going to crash? If this is the kind of content that you enjoy, then be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ping that notification bell. Before we get started, guys, do keep in mind that nothing in this video is financial advice. It's just my personal crypto trading strategy. What I see in the charts and my analysis of these cryptos might be completely different than yours. And honestly, guys, if it is, that's awesome. As I'm going to be saying in every video, the more difference of opinion we have, the better investors, the better traders that we're all going to become. So with that being said, guys, first things first, we have to check kind of and assess, why is Gala Games pumping? And of course, the very simple way to do that is to just go through Twitter/X and just see if they've posted anything significant. And to be honest, guys, there's nothing really significant that's been posted over the last few days. At least nothing that would justify like a sizable pump. But with that being said, you guys will know, if you've been keeping up with the channel, specifically with my reviews here, you guys will know that I've been pointing out that these GameFi cryptos are going to start rallying. I do think this is kind of like the universal reason why Decentraland and the Sandbox, and of course Gala Games, it's a gaming crypto. I do think that's fundamentally the reason why these are pumping. Another thing that's really helping them out is all three of these cryptos are on Ethereum, and Ethereum's ecosystem is waking up. So there's a lot of basically speculation in Ethereum altcoins, especially, and when you combine that with the interest in GameFi more generally, that I think is rising, then you have a nice mix, right? You have interest in GameFi plus money flowing into Ethereum's ecosystem. The result is that you have Ethereum-based GameFi cryptos like Gala Games and Decentraland and the Sandbox pumping a lot, and that's kind of like the key driver in my opinion. It's even further supported by the fact, as you guys know, when I can't really understand why exactly crypto's pumping, I like to go to CoinMarketCap, go to the markets tab, and then sort by trading volume. And again, even in this case, there's nothing that really like stands out as like the reason why Gala's pumping. Of course, there's lots of trading on some of these like offshore exchanges, but there's nothing in there that really stands out. Like South Koreans kind of like pumping the coin or whatever. This does seem to be a little bit the case with Decentraland and the Sandbox, but I think that doesn't take away from the fact that that GameFi as a narrative is kind of starting to increase, that these cryptos are on Ethereum and all those flows, all that kind of stuff that I just mentioned a few moments ago. So with that being said, guys, we can now turn to the Gala chart. And to be honest, guys, the Gala chart is looking pretty damn bullish, if I do say so myself. But of course, before we get too excited, Gala needs to get above this resistance level that's clearly somewhere around 7 cents, and currently it's trading somewhere around 6 cents, and it could fall as low as 4.5 cents before it gets to that resistance level. I guess another way of putting that is it's possible that Gala is going to chop within this range for a few days before it keeps moving higher. But as I've been saying, guys, the risks for these altcoins is skewed to the upside, and that's a very simple way of saying that basically that the risk that altcoins keep going higher is higher than the risk that they're just going to like completely crash like they were doing for the last whatever it is, 6 months or 8 months. So just do keep that in mind, that like when I'm saying there could be a correction, don't start applying your bias in there. Just do keep in mind that the markets themselves, especially now with altcoins, the bias is kind of like to the upside for the market as a whole. So with that being said, guys, quite clearly the starting point of this most recent move is around 2 cents. Of course, as I just mentioned, the resistance is around 7 cents. So all we need to do is to find the target is we just look at the difference there, and the difference, I actually didn't write it out here, but the difference was roughly 5 cents. And of course, if we take the resistance and the difference and we add it together, then we get a target of roughly 12 cents there. And of course, from the resistance level, that would be an upside of around 70%. And from Gala's current price, you'd be looking at roughly, I believe it's a 2x. Yeah, roughly a 2x from Gala's current price, with a risk reward ratio of 4 to 1, which is pretty damn solid. I do think that Gala is going to do very well, especially because it has low price tag. It's one of these like blue chip crypto, GameFi cryptos, and blue chip crypto in general, some would argue. And yeah, guys, this is a crypto I do think is going to rip a lot over the next couple of weeks. Just do keep in mind that this is the daily chart. We're not here on the 15-minute, not trying to be degens here. We're here on the daily chart, so it will take a couple weeks probably for Gala to hit this target. But do expect to see some pretty sizable gains from here for the next couple of weeks. That would be my base case, definitely. But do keep in mind that if you are thinking of trading this, then you need to make sure, again, like I can't give you any advice, but I would personally wait until the resistance level is breached, until Gala's above that resistance, so that you get confirmation that, yep, it's time to go higher. And if you're holding Gala since the lows over the summer, then pat yourself on the back. You're going to have some pretty sizable gains by the time we get to that top. I think you'll be looking at roughly a 5x from the summer, which is pretty solid. And to be honest, guys, I do think that's just going to be the beginning for Gala and altcoins more broadly. So with that being said, of course, the Coin Bureau deals page has deals for Bybit, which we were just using, up to $60,000 in rewards. We also have trading fee discounts on Blowfin, OKX, KuCoin, and Binance. In my opinion, guys, I do think that these trading fee discounts will help you out a lot. In particular, even if you're not using a lot of money, I know like when you see these huge like rewards, like up to 60,000 in rewards. Of course, when you read the details, you do have to deposit quite a bit of capital and do quite a bit of trading or whatever. But for these trading fee discounts, guys, for most of the time, for most of these deals, there isn't really any minimum minimum, or maybe it's just very low, like a few $100s or something. And if you're just trading frequently, or even with just a few $100s or a couple $1,000s, these deals are going to come in super handy, because you're going to be losing, a few cents a trade, or even a couple dollars a trade, depending on the size of the trade that you're doing. And those fees do add up, especially during bull markets. You'll lose $50, $100. I know this from experience, and I'm not a crypto whale, guys. As you can probably tell, I'm not like some crazy crypto whale is like, made like a bunch of millions or whatever. And even with just, the few hundred, the few thousands of dollars that I've traded during my time in crypto, I have lost, a pretty decent amount of capital. So I would strongly suggest taking advantage of these deals the way that I didn't do, and don't make that same mistake. It doesn't cost you a thing. The link is down in the description. And yeah, guys, like you get a trading fee discount. The exchange gets a new user, and we get a kickback from those fees. Like, we get a cut of those fees. So it's a win-win-win for everyone. So with that being said, guys, we can turn over now to Decentraland. And this is similarly, I'm going through like the Twitter/X feed, trying to find, is there anything in here that could really explain why Mana has been pumping so much? Of course not. We go over here to the markets tab on CoinMarketCap, sorry. And you can see, guys, that's of course Mana's trading quite a bit on Upbit. This has been the case for a lot of these kind of like cryptos, like XRP and these guys. And as I've been saying, guys, I do think that the way that these rallies kind of start is you have like a kind of like an organized like little pump, like by a group of like influencers that are working with people that are maybe involved in these projects. So they kind of like orchestrate kind of like the initial pump. That initial pump gets people interested, and then that interest like causes the pump to go, or causes the price to go higher, because all these like other retail investors come in, and then the narrative comes after. And I do think in this case, though, guys, as I was saying at the start of the video, I do think that there is a kind of a gradual shift towards GameFi. I do think people are realizing that GameFi is going to be big. GameFi is really big in Asia. Like I think a lot of you will know that, and even be mentioning it in the comments. That the GameFi is very big in Asia. So in this case, it might not necessarily be a pump and dump. It could literally just be that South Koreans are aping in to these GameFi cryptos because they actually like GameFi. But with that being said, guys, we can turn over to the chart here on Decentraland. And believe it or not, guys, but I actually have not tweaked this chart since we last covered Decentraland. I think it was last week or the week before. Again, guys, the time flies when I'm with all the stuff that I'm doing, so I apologize if I'm messing the timelines there. But key point being that I have not touched this chart. These price targets and everything that I outlined, I haven't touched anything, and you can see that it's working out quite nicely. So I guess just to quickly recap for those of you who missed that video, the starting point here is quite clearly around 40 cents, and the resistance, or you can even make the case that it starts lower. But again, I like to be a little bit conservative in my analysis. But regardless, guys, let's just say for sake of argument, the starting point here is 40 cents. Resistance is 80 cents. Of course, that gives us a difference of 40 cents, and we take the resistance, we add the difference. That gives us a target of $1.20. And of course, the resistance is quite strongly here around 80 cents. And you can see that as I shoot this video, Mana is struggling to get above that resistance level, but it looks like it's about to break above that. And that's going to translate to a gain of 50% to the upside. Again, this is on the daily, so it's not going to happen immediately. This is going to happen in the coming weeks. That I do think Mana is headed for a 50% upside, which is pretty sizable. Not as big as Gala, especially from current levels, but it's still pretty decent. And I do think that, of course, Decentraland is one of these blue chip kind of like, metaverse GameFi cryptos. So it's definitely one to watch in the coming weeks, and one that I do think is headed much higher in the longer term meaning like the next few months. It's not going to come overnight, guys. You have to be patient. So with that being said, we can now turn over to the Sandbox, which is of course very similar to Decentraland in more ways than one. I guess the one way that they're both similar is that, again, there's nothing really specific, that there's nothing really that's like, necessarily driving like Sandbox, like the rally in Sand. I do see that there's been quite a bit of buying and selling of land prices, which are basically like these NFTs, like representing land in the game. But the thing is, guys, that the price of NFTs more generally has also been rallying. So it's you can't really say like, oh, Sand is rallying because the NFT people are buying the NFTs when all the NFTs are being bought. It's not something that's unique to the Sandbox. So the question is, why are these other NFT heavy crypto projects also not rallying? You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense, guys. But anyways, yeah, similarly to or I guess even more so than Decentraland, you can see here that Sand, there's a lot of trading happening on the South Korean exchange, almost 30%. Actually, if you factor in BitThumb, which is also South Korean exchange, and you combine that with Upbit, you're looking at basically a third of all trading volume for Sand is coming from South Korean exchanges, which again might not necessarily be like a sign of a pump and dump in this case, just because GameFi is emerging as an area of something that is very popular in Asia. But to be honest, guys, when you see that much volume, it is a little bit suspicious, let's just say. So now, guys, turning turning to the actual chart for Sand, this is where things get pretty interesting, because as you can see, Sand has quite a bit of potential, and it's kind of like it's already, I guess, in contrast to Mana, it's already broken out above this resistance level of around 80 cents, and it's definitely headed up for that target that looks like it's around $1.30. Of course, the way that we calculate that, guys, as always, starting point, like looking at the starting point of this move, which is somewhere around 30 cents. The resistance is quite clearly somewhere around 80 cents. You can see it was kind of like this previous high here back in March, and that's kind of one easy way to confirm. And we can see quite clearly that Sand has broken above this resistance level. So now it's headed for that $1.30 target, which of course, if we measure from the price that it's currently at, you're looking at a gain of around 40%, which is not too shabby. And the downside in this case, not necessarily all the way back down here to the support of 60 cents. Maybe if it gets rejected here, then Sand could fall like to 80 cents, and then before it continues moving higher up to $1.30. But as I've been saying throughout this video and in other videos, guys, the risks are skewed to the upside. So the chances that that Sand kind of sees only like a minor correction, then keeps heading higher, is much higher than if it was like to completely collapse and then keep heading higher. I do think that the pullbacks are going to be minimal, especially now that Bitcoin's hit 100K and everyone's aping in. I mean, well, not at the moment that I'm shooting this video, but in the coming weeks, like hitting that 100K target, I think that's going to make the rounds in the news around the world. And I do think that people are going to start, thinking they missed out on Bitcoin and turning to look at other cryptos, even in like these altcoins, because they're going to think, if this altcoin gets as big as Bitcoin, then I'm going to be rich, and whatever narratives people make up, to justify the pump. With that being said, guys, this is a nice segue as always to the Coin Bureau Club, where we're doing weekly altcoin reviews of these promising small caps that are voted on by our members. We have a research feed where I'm posting insights every single day. The kind of alpha that I'm sharing at the end of these videos, it comes from like the stuff that I post on the research feed. And we, of course, we showcase our personal crypto portfolio, specifically our top 20 holdings. So you see basically all the cryptos that we hold, as well as the cryptos that we're watching and considering adding to our portfolios. And we do have these exclusive deals as well, guys, for people who are interested in getting subscriptions to these like crypto analytics platforms. We have some exclusive deals there, as well as on like hardware wallets and stuff, as you can see for Engrave. So that's one of the perks that our members get. And of course, the biggest perk of all, many would say, is becoming a part of the members Discord, where we have a nice community, and where you can ask us questions, and where I'm doing technical analysis of Bitcoin and Ethereum and other altcoins every single day there. And I will say that my calls have been pretty nice lately, but of course, everyone looks like a genius when the market is rallying. So with that being said, guys, if you did make it this far, then I need to, of course, share some alpha. And it's funny because that's the same thing that I say when I'm about to say, go like subscribe and whatever, if you did make it this far. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of you drop off after that. But anyways, guys, when it comes to Gala specifically, so this is a cryptocurrency. At full disclosure, I hold Gala Music as part of my personal portfolio. It's a very, 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 very small percentage. It's literally just like a tiny allocation. But Gala Music is one of these cryptos that's kind of like within of course, under the Gala Games umbrella. And you guys actually might have seen, if you're checking through the Twitter/X, that Gala was recently promoting that they're going to be doing Gala Film, which is kind of like another project that they're working on. But the one that's kind of live already is Gala Music, which is going to be integrated with Gala Film. I'm not going to get into the details there, guys. But the point being that I do think that Gala Music is probably going to do quite well, because I do think that a lot of the capital that's going into Gala Games today is going to go into Gala Music tomorrow. And I don't literally mean tomorrow. I mean like in some weeks or some months, after the Gala Games token is pumped a lot, then chances are you're going to see some rotation into the other cryptos in Gala Games' ecosystem, specifically music, and probably the Gala Film crypto when it comes out, which I'm sure is coming at some point. Honestly, I'm not at the speed there. So if you guys know, feel free to drop a comment down below. But point being, guys, if you're looking for kind of like a promising small cap, in my opinion, this is, again, it's not the best, to be honest, it's not the best music crypto that's out there. I'll be like full disclosure, guys, it's not the biggest crypto, like the biggest music crypto that I hold, but it is one to keep on your radar, I would say, especially given that the Gala Games brand is so big and there's a lot of capital flowing in that ecosystem. And again, these are the type of altcoins that we cover in the Coin Bureau Club, and we actually did a review of Gala Music. So if you want a super deep dive into what Gala Music is about, we actually have a video about it on the Coin Bureau Club, and of course you can find a link to that in the description. So with all that being said, guys, if you did make it this far, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ping that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one.